Hello! It's been a while. Oh, finally, I'm getting around to filming this episode. I have been hoping to do it for the last couple of weeks. Just hasn't happened. Wanted to do it yesterday, and it was so gloomy and dark that I did not have enough natural light, and I don't have lights or anything like that I can work with. So today, though, the sun is out for the first time in a long time. It's so nice to have the blue sky and the sun. So it's a good day to film. Wow, I feel like I've been really busy. As I was gathering my projects for this podcast, I felt like I've been working on more, but then I felt like I was going to have more to show than what I have, and I have a lot. Most of them are smaller projects. I guess I've been in the mood to make smaller, more manageable projects. I don't have any sweaters currently. I don't even have any shawls that I'm currently knitting on. It's been a lot of socks and hats and those kind of things, which is good for this time of year, right? It's December. What is it? December 7th today. I'm going to show you all those things. I'm going to show you what I've been working on. I have some stuff that's finished, and I have some things that are in progress. So I'm going to show you all of that. First, I want to tell you what I'm wearing. This is my Dotted Stripes shawl by Lise Bogevald. And I made this back in, I think it was in April. I did it as a test knit. And this is made with Drops Alpaca Air. It is so nice. It's such a nice, cozy, soft shawl, and it's not the least bit itchy. Some people have a hard time with alpaca. It must be the way that this yarn is. It's a blown yarn, so the alpaca fiber is blown into like a tube. So I don't know if that helps. I used to own alpaca, so I do know that they have like guard hair, and when you do the skirting and you're basically, when you skirt, you're taking the seconds and the guard hairs and stuff, and you're pulling them away and getting rid of them so that you're just left with the nice blanket. But some of those guard hairs still stay in there, and that is why some people have a hard time with alpaca, because they kind of poke up out of the yarn. They don't always get held down in the spinning process. But this is not like that at all. In fact, this is what I made my Drama sweater out of that I ended up giving to my daughter, and my daughter has a very intense wool sensitivity. Not just wool, alpaca as well. She's just very bothered by anything the least bit itchy, and she is perfectly fine. She can wear the whole sweater, so it's good. It's a good alpaca blend if you want to use alpaca, but you're usually sensitive to it. So yes, this is the Dotted Stripes. Oh, and with all my podcasts, I just want to let you know that anything that I mention, I will link below in the description portion under my video. Alright, so I'm just going to jump in there because I feel like, today's been weird. Today has been a weird day. Oh, first of all, can we just admire this beautiful handmade mug that I found at the thrift store yesterday? Can you look at this? Look at this beauty. I love pottery. My husband does too. So, when we go on vacation or we travel to like areas that we've never been to before, or ones we have, if we can find a pottery shop, we will go in it, and we typically come out with something. But I found this at one of our local thrift stores yesterday for $4. You really can't beat that. I'm drinking an herbal tea because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like I need to stop, take a breath, and chill out. That does not always come easy for me. I don't want to get stuck on this, but I do have an issue. I've dealt with some anxiety and some depression and stuff since 2008, but probably longer than that. Lately, I don't know what's up, but I have been feeling it a bit more. So yes, I thought I need some nice hot herbal tea just to kind of calm me. So I'm going to sip on this during my podcast because there's something to me that's so comforting about a warm herbal tea. I really love coffee, but let's be honest, when you're already having some anxiety, do you really want to add the caffeine? Not for me. So herbal teas are really nice options to just kind of calm down and just refocus. And I don't know, I find that they give me a lot of comfort. So I am going to sip on this throughout the podcast. I think this has like peppermint, licorice, echinacea. It doesn't have a lot of licorice in it though. I'm not a fan of licorice. So I tend to avoid teas that have a strong licorice taste to them. This one has just a little bit, just enough. I think I can maybe taste it just a tiny bit. But okay, let's talk about what I have been up to. So I told you about my shawl, and I want to show you guys a hat that I made. I made this hat for my niece, who's actually here today. This is the mountaintop toque, and I think the designer's name. Hold on, my notes are over here. The designer is Made by Marley. That's her business name. And I see some unevenness in the pom-pom. Okay, so here it is. So this is a fun, bulky weight color work hat that I literally knit this in a day. I don't know how many hours it took me because I never keep track of that, but I did it all in a day, start to finish, including the pom. And it looks really big, but I think, here, I'll put it on. It's a really warm hat. In fact, like I feel like I maybe need one. So, can you see that? Yeah, it's really warm. I knitted it, and the day that I made it, it was actually a pretty chilly day out. It was pretty cold actually. So I took it out and I wore it around to see what I thought about it. And not only is it made with bulky yarn, but then when you have like your floats and stuff in there, that adds that other layer of warmth. So it's just really a nice warm hat. And I made it for my niece just because I thought she would like it. And I just put that little pop of yellow in there because she does really like yellow. But it goes with her coat. And as far as I know, she really seemed to like it. I made it, and then I took the pom-pom back and just kind of showed it to her, and she chose to have it with the pom-pom. So, very fast knit. My daughter's requesting one. I think I should knit one for myself, so I probably will. Now, this is made from Lionbrand Woolies Thick and Quick, I think is what it's called. So this is like a gray tweedy color. I don't have the exact names because I don't have the ball bands. So that's what the main color is. And then the off-white is the Thick and Quick in the Fisherman color. And then the green and the yellow. This is another Lionbrand, but it's not the Woolies, but it's a bulky weight, and I cannot think of what it's called. Oh boy. Sorry, you know what? I'll look downstairs in my room and see if I can find the tags, and then I'll include it in the notes. And then this purple is just they're just some scraps I had of worsted weight that I held double. So this is a really good scrappy hat because other than the main color of the hat, which it used a good portion of that skein of the Lionbrand Thick and Quick, because I think there's like 107 yards in one of those skeins, and it didn't use the whole one, but I don't think I could make another hat out of, I don't think I could get 2 hats out of one of those skeins. I may be wrong, but I don't think I could. But this is a really good scrappy project, as long as you have your main bulky or your main color, like even worsted if you held it double, just using your scraps for the other portions, you know, you don't need full skeins for that. So yes, the Mountaintop Toque. I've had this pattern for probably a year. I think I got it right when she came out with it. and I'm just knitting it this year, but I'm really glad I did. Sometimes you just need quick knits. I've been knitting a lot of sweaters and shawls, you know, all summer and fall, and so I think that's why I'm doing so many small projects right now, because I need some instant satisfaction. Okay, so yes, that's the first one that I wanted to talk about. And while we're on hats, why don't we just talk about, I brought a couple other of my favorite hats that I'm actually wearing in the winter. Not my veil hat, which is by the Blue Mouse, Emily of the Blue Mouse. I absolutely love that hat, but it is not going to be warm enough for these really cool days. We've had some really cool days lately, and I've put that hat on, and even though I did it with the folded up brim, it's still not quite warm enough for when it's really frigid and windy out. So I'm going to knit another one of those in bulky weight. I have some Peace Fleece yarn that I think will be wonderful for that. I think the Peace Fleece is considered a worsted, but it seems pretty thick to me. Plus, I thought if I don't get gauge, if I start it and I feel like, oh no, maybe I need a little bit of a thicker yarn. I have some mohair, some various colors of mohair that I bought because they were on sale, not because I had a plan for them. So I'll just maybe throw that in with it, and it'll be nice and fuzzy and even extra warm. Okay, but let me show you a hat that my husband wears all the time. I actually made this hat for myself, and I've showed this in one of my previous podcasts from last year. But I thought it's worth showing because it's a really beautiful hat. It's a colorwork hat. It's nice and warm, and it's one hat that we get a lot of use out of when it's colder out. And it's quick. It's a quick knit. So, isn't that pretty? Okay, so this is called, I think this is just called the Basic Norwegian Star Hat. Isn't that beautiful? I love color work. I really love color work. It's just amazing what you can do with some yarn of different colors and your needles. And so I'll link this. This was a free pattern. At least it was when I downloaded it last year. And I used, oh, I love this yarn. Okay, this is like a workhorse yarn. All right, it is Lamb's Pride worsted. And these are the 3 colors that I used. And I will put this down below, but this one is called Roasted Coffee. And then we have Warm Caramel. And this one is, what is this one? Sandy Heather. This yarn is, let's see, 85% wool, 15% mohair. So it does have that nice halo. I don't know if you can see that without me. Can you see the halo? Yeah, so, oh here, I might as well just let you see a close-up of the color work. I love these colors together. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right. So when we were in Maine, not this past year, but the year before, there is a little yarn shop right in Bar Harbor, and I don't know why, but I can never remember the name. I think her name is Dee. Maybe it's just called Dee's something or other. She sells yarn and candy. I can never remember the name of it. Anyway, she carries this, and she carries a lot of it, of all different colors. So I bought quite a bit of this when I was there. Not just these colors. I have, downstairs, I have like a third of one of my shelves is full of various colors of this Lamb's Pride worsted. And it is just such a warm yarn. It is a little bit, it might be a little scratchy for some people. Like, I don't think my daughter could handle this. I'm totally fine with it. But whatever. It's, I like it. And I love it for color work because it fills in. It just fills in all those spaces and just looks so pretty. So I really recommend this pattern. Like I said, I made this for myself, but my husband took it from me, which was funny because I never imagined him wanting to wear a color work hat like this. But he loves it, and it's very warm. And when he, so at work, he works in a town, and on his lunch break, he will go walk because he has a computer. For the most part, his job is a computer job, which is really not good for your body, you know. So he'll get up, if he can, he'll go out for a walk on his lunch break. And in the winter, it gets really cold. So this is his walking hat. He wears it a lot, but he definitely makes sure he takes it to work for when he walks. So yeah, I really like this one, and I want to make another one for myself. So I probably will eventually, but oh, I got so many plans and just not enough time to make the stuff I want to make, right? Okay. And then another thing I want to show you that's a quick knit, not a hat, but a quick knit. Oops, here we go. These beautiful mitts. They are called the Sparrow Myths. They are by Dole Valley Girl Knits. This is Lisa. I made these, I forget when I made these. Maybe last winter, maybe in the spring. I can't remember. But I stinking wear these all the time. Like I wear these all the time. Now, I will say that, so I go out and walk every day as well, and I've been having to, so this is how they fit. First of all, they fit me wonderfully. But what I've been doing is I have to like pull my fingers in, and then lately, because it's been really cold, I've just been pulling like everything in, and look, that's pathetic. So I do need to knit myself some mitts, and I am planning on it. I have gloves, but I have my fingers and my toes get really, really cold very easily, and they kind of turn white. And there is that's called something, but I'm not going to get into that here. So I have a really good pair of winter boots that I invested in probably 4 or 5 years ago, and my feet never get cold with them. I have my hats. I have really good down jackets. I'm not lacking in anything except for some glove that keeps my hands warm. And I've bought several different types of gloves, and I've never found gloves that keep my hands warm. They're all, my hands get cold, and then they get painful, and then I just want to go in the house. So and I talked about this last year and I never did it, but I want to make myself a pair of thrummed mitts. Basically what that is, for those of you that don't know, is as you're knitting your mitten, you actually will knit in tufts of like just the fiber, so not yarn. And so then when your mitt is done, you have a bunch of like just fiber in there. I don't know if this is making sense, so maybe you should Google it. But what happens is over time, all that wool in there will actually like felt itself together from your hands being in it, and it'll form a really nice, thick, warm, insulating layer. So I'm hoping that will work to keep my hands warm. So I want to make a pair of those, and I need to do that soon because I definitely need them now. But these have been wonderful all fall. All fall I've been wearing these, and I've got compliments. This is a really, really beautiful design. Lisa incorporated some techniques that, like her cast on and cast off. I forget what it's called, a 3-needle bind off maybe, 3-needle cast on. So that takes a little bit longer to do, but my goodness, it gives such a nice finished edge that it totally makes it worth it. So I really, really like this pattern. Check it out, guys. Check it out. Especially if you live somewhere like that you don't need a set of full mitts for the winter, because these are getting a lot of love from me. But it's going to be time to put these away and get out some mittens real soon. All right. I need to grab something that I forgot to grab. All right, this next object is something that I just finished this past week. Are we ready? Oh, still coming. All right. This is my Birds and Ships cowl. Yes. I always have to think about that name. Birds and Ships cowl by Caitlin Hunter, who is known as Boyland Knitworks. And boy, this was a fun knit. This was really fun and quick. Again, it satisfied that need for me to have some quick knits. Let me show you the back. This is nice because you have less fabric on the back of your neck and more in the front. So I appreciate that part of the design. And then I don't know if you can see, but this is like a garter panel, and then you go into stockinette here, and then this lace panel goes up the front. So yes, and then you put a little tassel on, which I love the tassel. You wouldn't have to put the tassel on, but I really love the tassel. And I'll put a picture in right here just so that you can see what it looks like on, and how the tassel kind of just gives it a little bit of weight and pulls down the front of the cowl and gives it a really nice look. So let me go ahead and insert that photo right here. I knit this out of Knit Picks Hawthorne Fingering Tonal. I think I got that all right. And this is the colorway Mount Hood. Let me give you a close-up here so you can see the different, like the variance in the colors. It's just a really pretty color. I had this yarn in my stash for 2 years, so it felt really good to be able to use it. I'm going to definitely make another one of these because, well, first of all, my daughter has requested one. And also, I would really like to have one. I have some green fingering weight yarn from Ashley of Old Wire Road Yarn Company. And I also have a skein of a blue fingering weight that's single ply that I think, like, it's a navy blue, and I feel like I think a navy blue one would be nice to have. So I'm going to probably make some more of these. And it, like I said, it was easy to knit. She gives both charted directions and written directions, so if you prefer one over the other, they're both there. I prefer charted. I think they're easier to follow, so I use the charted. But yeah, I like when patterns give you both options, because not everybody likes to read charts, but not everybody likes to read the written instructions either. I tied my tassel on, but I have not woven in, like, I don't know if you can see that. I kind of have it tucked in there. I wasn't sure if I was going to want the tassel on, so I didn't want to, like, weave it in and have it on there permanently, so I just tied it on until I tried it on. And then I just haven't taken the time to do that yet, because I haven't really worn it other than around the house, so it does not like it really matters, right? Do I have anything else? Oh, you remember last time I podcasted, for those of you who watched the last episode, I had 2 knits that I told you guys about them because I wanted to be accountable to somebody to finish those. Well, I finished one of them. I finished the socks. So I had a pair of socks, and I also had the Weatherby cowl that I was wanting to finish. I did not even touch the Weatherby cowl. I need to do that. But I did finish the socks. So I'm going to show you those. Here we go. They're actually in pretty, okay. Well, let me tell you, I was going to give these to Lily for Christmas. But then I finished them and I couldn't wait, because that is how I am. If I knit something for somebody, I have a really hard time waiting to give it to them. So I just gave them to her. She was kind of having a rough day the one day, And I thought, I had just finished them the day before, and I thought, oh, she would love to have those. I bet they would make her feel so much better. And they did. So this is a yarn that I was gifted from Carrie. And Carrie's name on Instagram is Carrie on the Coast. And oh, Carrie, every time I say this, you remind me of what this yarn is. And now, again, I don't remember. Because she sent a tag with it, but I lost the tag. And she has reminded me several times. And do you think I can remember? I cannot remember. But the toe, I just had some contrast fingering in like this burgundy-ish color. And I thought, oh, that's fun to give it a pop of color. So I just added that on both toes. And this is the Hermione Everyday Sock pattern that I use constantly because I just really like it. And it's easy and it's a nice textured, it makes a nice textured sock. And Lily has been wearing these almost every day. Now, the very first day she wore them, there was quite a bit of pilling. There was quite a bit of pilling. So I'm wondering what the content of this fiber is, because I also didn't know that. I'm wondering if maybe it's like either a merino, like 100% merino, or if it maybe has some cashmere in it, along with nylon and merino. Because there was quite a bit of pilling, and I actually took my little defuzzer on it today because they were pretty bad, before I showed it to you guys. So I told Lily, maybe you should just wear those like at home to bed, because I'm not sure how they're going to hold up if she's going to be wearing them in her boots and stuff. So I think that's what she does. She just pretty much puts them on in the evening, and they're nice and soft and cozy. Like she said, they're the softest socks I've ever given her. So that made me happy that she loved them so much. Speaking of Lily, I wanted to just share with you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have probably seen this. Lily painted this yesterday. She sketched it and then painted it. It's just some holly. I don't know if she did a really good job with it. Somebody commented on my Instagram post that I should use this for our Christmas cards this year. And that's a totally good idea if I were on top of those kind of things. But I'm not. I may send out Christmas cards. I may not. I try not to stress about things like that. I used to. I try not to do that anymore. But I am going to get a frame to put that in, because I think it is really pretty, and she does a really good job. That was watercolor. I don't know if I said that. She really likes to paint with watercolor. She gets that from me. I really enjoy watercolor paints. Although, boy, I don't even remember the last time I watercolored. I just knit in my free time now. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I don't know. Okay, I think that's all of my finished objects. Pretty sure. Now I have some things I'm working on, including a pair of socks for Ian. He's one of my sons. Aren't those fun? This is Knit Picks Felici. Yes, Rugby player is the colorway for this. So I have one whole sock done, and I have part of the other one started. These are 9-inch circs. That's what I use for my socks. Except when I get to the toe, then I use the double pointed. But even on the heel, I use the 9-inch circulars. And this is a size 1 needle, and I originally had cast it on 72 stitches, but then I realized that was going to be too much, too big. So I did 68. And I'm just doing, because it's the self-striping yarn, I don't feel the need to do a pattern. So I'm just plain stockinette, just knitting round and round and round. And this one went super fast. And yeah, this one won't take me long either. This is the first time I've used Knit Picks Felici that I think that yeah, that's it. This is the first time. They recently had a sale. Did you guys know they had a sale? I'm going to show you some other stuff I bought during their sale. Got some good deals. But I saw this. This was the only color that I thought, oh, that looks like Ian might wear that. So, I ordered it. And I like it. I like this yarn. It feels like it's going to be a sturdy. Have you guys worked with Felici? Feels like it's going to be a sturdy yarn, which is good. Which is really good for my son because, okay, I'm going to be honest, this is the first pair of socks I've ever knitted for him. Because first of all, it is not until recently that he would actually be willing to wear a pair of hand-knitted socks. That's my first reason. Second of all, I have been nervous about how hand-knitted socks would hold up for him because I feel like his socks constantly have holes in them. So that is to be determined. However, I will say that this yarn feels very sturdy, so I'm hoping that it holds up well. So if any of you have used Felici, if you want to let me know how it holds up. It just feels thick and not stiff. Stiff's not sturdy. It feels sturdy. So I'm hoping it'll be a good option for a teenage boy. We'll find out. All right, so that's my first pair of socks that are in the middle of being worked on. And then I have another pair of socks, and isn't this bag beautiful? This is by Olivia of, I think her business name is Handmaids by Olivia. No, This Handmade Life. That's her. I knew that was her Instagram name, but I couldn't remember her business name. This was actually part of a collaboration that she did with Ashley of Old Wire Road Yarn. I always get caught up on that because Ashley's business used to have a different name, and then she had to change the name for for a reason. Anyway, so now I always get hung up on the name. So, but Ashley and Olivia did a collaboration last year, and so it was a skein of Ashley's yarn and one of Olivia's bags, and then I think there was a progress keeper too, although I could be wrong about that. But this is, I don't know if you can tell, but it is Christmassy. It's got pine cones on it, and yeah, holly. There's some holly. Okay, so inside the Christmas bag are my Christmas socks. I have fun making Christmas socks. Okay, so this is all the more I've gotten done because I just started them. I started them maybe 2 days ago. I am using this Regia, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the Perfect Design Line, Arnie and Carlos, and this color does not have a name. It has a number, which I will put down below so that you do not have to copy down the number as I read it. This is the Perfect, which means it's going to make 2 identical socks, and it's all done through this yellow yarn, using that yellow yarn as a guide. And sorry, I just got a text that distracted me. So yeah, and I am really enjoying this. It's so fun because look, this cuff is a lot longer than I would normally make my cuffs, but what you do is you use the yellow as your guide, okay, and you start at the green. The yellow was way long, and I cut it off. And then you just keep knitting your ribbing in the green until you get to this red, and then you start your stockinette. And then I'll knit this until I come back to the solid green, and then that will be my heel, and then it'll go to the stripes again, and then that will be the foot, and then it'll go to solid green again. And I think I'm probably gonna have to do I'll probably have to stop early on when I get to the toe and cut some of the printed yarn off, because it may be too much for me just to keep going. Do you know what I mean? Like, my foot's probably not going to be that big. But it's very interesting. And this is actually the second skein of this Perfect yarn. I bought one back in the fall, and I have not knitted that skein yet. It's just like purples and some other pinks, I think. But this one is just so fun for Christmas. I really like it. Let me see if I can zoom up for you guys to see it. fun stuff. And I'll show you the tag. See, that's what they'll look like. So I want to tell you where I get this yarn. I'm sure there's multiple places to get it, but I am in the United States, and sometimes it's hard to find these types of yarns. I get mine off of an Etsy shop, and I have bought a lot of sock yarn off of her. She has a ton of self-striping sock yarn from companies like this. I have bought quite a bit off of her because she's very reputable as a seller. And I think she's based out of Wisconsin. I'm in Pennsylvania. I will order it and I will get it within 2 days. Like, it amazes me. And I don't know if that's just because of the postal routes between her and I don't know. But it's always so super fast. Her shop name, it's like, where'd I write it? Pegasus 246. Again, I'll link it below because I don't know if I'm even saying that right. But yeah, she has a lot of this type of self-striping sock yarn. I love self-striping sock yarn because I love the look it gets. But, okay, I love the look of scrappy socks. But I don't know that I'd have the patience to weave in all those ends. I really don't like weaving in ends. But I really like self-striping sock yarn. Yeah. So, like I said, Christmas sock. This is sock number 1. 64 stitches on a size 1 9-inch circular. And I'm flying through it. I may have started this yesterday. If not, it was late Thursday night. So I've got quite a bit done. They're fun though, because you know how that is. You just want to get to the next stripe, and then you're like, ooh, I want to see what comes next. And so on and so forth. And then before you know it, you've knitted like 4 inches of sock. All right. What else? Oh, I know. I have another thing I'm working on here. This is the campside blanket. Campfire blanket. Campside blanket. I showed this on my last podcast, but it was much, much smaller. This is a 2 of Wands pattern. So it's a lot bigger now. But I'm going to be honest, I haven't worked on this one for a couple weeks because I've got Christmas knitting on my brain. And the colors are boring. What can I say? This is Lionbrand Fisherman wool. And I'll tell you what, just if you want to see the yarn details, go back to my last episode. So whatever episode that was before this, because I don't know what number episode I'm on. And look in the description box, and you'll see, I always list like the project name and then the yarn that I use underneath it. So you can see the 3 different types of yarn colors that I'm using for this. So the colors are boring, but the reason I want this is for when we go camping, or even when we have our campfires, like in the fall, because this is going to be big. Look how big it is already. I still have quite a bit to do on it. And it's really easy, simple knitting. You hold 2 strands of the yarn together, and it's a color scheme that you just repeat, is basically what you do. And then you put fringe on either end when you're all finished. So as boring as it is because of the yarn color, I know it's going to be really cozy, and it's going to be a practical knit, and it's going to be one that I'm going to feel just going to feel cozy in. So the name for it is perfect. It's either campfire blanket or fireside blanket or something like that. I can't remember. Oh, gosh, I should look these things up before I start to film, shouldn't I? But you know, everything's below. I'll put the correct name down there. So yeah, that is, and this is knit on size 13 needles. So it's going to go fast if I would just work on it, because honestly, after I filmed my last podcast, I sat down and I really worked at this, and I got almost all this done in a couple days because it's fast knitting, it's bulky yarn, and it's just knitting back and forth. Okay, I think I need to pause and figure out if there's anything else I want to talk about or any other projects that I'm working on right now, because I feel like I'm forgetting something. So let me pause and then I'll come back and we'll go from there. I know why I felt like I was forgetting something. I had been working on a pair of simple skip socks. I think that's how you pronounce it, SKYP. I had even put a picture of them on my Instagram feed, and they were for Ian, and they were going to be his very first pair of knitted socks. So I got one sock done except to close the toe, and I had him try them on, and they were huge on him. I mean, like, huge. So then I'm like, oh man. So I thought, well, I'll just give them to my husband Brad, who has the same size, wears the same size shoe as Ian, but he's like, his foot's probably, and his ankle's probably a little bit bigger, just because he's built a little differently than Ian. But they were huge on Ian, so I ended up ripping them out. Oh, it's always painful to rip out knitting, but why keep something that's not going to fit, you know? So I have that, and I probably will cast on another pair of that in that same yarn. It was another Hawthorne fingering weight stock yarn, and it was a really pretty brown color. So I want to use it. I think it would make a really pretty pair of the simple skip socks. I just need to get it. I need to figure out the right size for Ian. Okay, so I want to tell you now, what I'd really love to do is just do a Christmas edition of my podcast and show you my Christmas knits, like specifically Christmas knits that I'm working on, not Christmas gifts, Christmas knits, because I have several of them going on. However, I haven't started any of them except my Christmas socks. And it's the 7th of December. Here's my problem, guys. I am one of those people who cannot think of Christmas until after Thanksgiving. And I know it would be much smarter for me to start my Christmassy knitting like much earlier, or even in the fall. But I just can never bring myself to do it. I'm not in the mood until after Thanksgiving. So I have been wanting to knit stockings for our family for years, and I always think I'm going to do it this year, and then I haven't. So I actually bought a pattern. I bought the yarn. Now I just need to cast on. Now this pattern is called, actually it's a collection of 3. And this particular woman has quite a few Christmas stockings on Ravelry, which I will just, I'll link to this particular pattern, and then you can check out her other ones. Just be aware that she has multiple patterns, and I don't think she's living anymore. But somebody is keeping her patterns on there and maintaining her at her Ravelry shop. So this is called the Family Portrait Stockings. All right, and there's 3 different designs there. I don't know that you can see that. Let's see. Oh, no, I will forever have focusing problems, won't I? Anyway, I'm going to do mine. I'm going to do all, first of all, if I get 3 I'm going to knit for our kids, okay? That is my goal this year. Get stockings done for the kids, which means I need to make 3 of them. I'm just going to use red and white, and there are 3 different designs, so each kid's going to get a different design. And then in the future, if I knit Brad and myself stockings, she has other designs that I can just buy 2 more patterns and knit us different stockings in the same yarn. And these are the colors, and this is just, I went super cheap on this, Red Heart Soft. They had it on sale at Michael's. I think I paid $2 something per skein, maybe $1.99. No, I'm thinking it was $2 something. But it might have even been less than that, because I may have had a coupon. But this red color is called Wine, and this off-white color is called Off-White. Imagine that. So this is what I'm going to make our stockings out of. I need to be able to focus to start them, because I can't show you a whole lot, because this is a pattern that you have to pay for, and this was a collection. So I paid $9.99 for this to get 3 different stockings. But she gives you like the different color work charts, and then she gives you the what's it called? Like an alphabet, a charted alphabet, so that I can actually put my kids' names on the stockings, which is just, I love that. to be able to personalize them like that. So that is what I need to get started on. Do you guys think I'm going to make it? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it in time. It's really not that big of a deal if I don't, but I feel if I could just at least start and get a good start on it, then maybe I will be okay to work on it even after Christmas and then get them done and then have them for Christmas next year. So that's my plan. My husband just said to me this morning, when are you going to start those stockings? I'm like, I know. We have all these wonderful intentions. I keep checking my battery level because I need a new battery, but I don't want to spend the money. The battery drains super fast, so I think we're still good. Okay, so that, I'm going to work on that. Another thing I want to do for Christmas knitting, also just winter knitting. I think this will just be winter knitting, actually. Let me get it pulled up here because I'm going to show you the picture of the pattern on Ravelry. I need to get back. So I'll tell you, Lindsay of A Wooden Nest inspired me last year with her little, let me pull this pattern up. Let me just show you the picture. It's called Never Not Gnoming by Sarah Shira. Look how cute those are. Just love them. And they're made with fingering weight yarn. You could make them with a heavier weight, they would just be bigger. So, I mentioned that Knit Picks had a sale. I might have gone a little overboard. This basket is full of Knit Picks palette yarn. Full. I have to say though that some of these skeins were $1.99 a piece. Okay, so like all of it was very reasonably priced. I think the most I paid for a skein was $3.49, and I only did that with one or two colors that I really absolutely felt like I needed to have. So I have all of these beautiful colors that I want to make some gnomes out of, and I have other plans for this yarn too. It's not, I didn't buy this just for the gnomes. But that was my main reason of buying it, because Lindsay had used this yarn, this pellet yarn last year, and I really liked the look of how hers turned out. So yeah, I just have all of this beautiful pellet Knit Picks yarn. Never knit with this before. It's 100% Peruvian Highland wool, 231 yards a skein. So I feel like $1.99, $2.50 a ball was like really good price. I also bought this to make a pair of mitts that Nina recently came out with, and I bought the pattern the day she released it because I just thought, oh my gosh, these are so pretty. The Cyanoc mitts. Gosh, I'm horrible with, don't know. I know I'm not pronouncing that right, and my battery's about to die. Gosh darn it. Okay, let me see if I can just zoom in on this for you guys. The little fox. So I bought some like caramel colored yarn as well as an off-white that I'm going to make those mitts with. Alright, so I think I need to stop here and I need to recharge my battery because I still have a few things I want to talk about and a giveaway winner to announce. Okay, we're charged. Not fully charged, but we're charged. Alright, so what I want to do right now, well, first of all, Nina, I showed you Nina's little fox mitts. She has a lovely podcast, so I'll link her down below. You guys should check her out. She doesn't post extremely frequently, but she's just so calm and lovely. I just love watching her podcast. Can't think of what the name of it is off the top of my head, but I want a giveaway on her podcast. So these two little bags of fiber to spin, like a green and a yellowish green, and then this beautiful green yarn, which I think would make, have you guys seen those cork Christmas trees? So you basically take like a wine cork and you use it as the stump, and then you knit a little tree to go on top of that, and you attach it, probably glue it onto the cork. I need to look at the details of that. I'm pretty sure it's a free pattern, and I'm pretty sure I already have it in my library on Ravelry, so I'll link that down below, because this would be really pretty for that. It's just got all different shades of like green and yellowish green. See, I have so many ideas, but it's December 7th. Gosh, probably not going to get everything done. Okay, so, oh, I know what else I wanted to talk about. I've had this yarn from Barrett Wool Co. since last year before Christmas, and I bought it as a kit to make a pattern by Melody Hoffman bee mandarins called the Little Twigs sweater, and I had a really horrible time getting gauge. This is part of the sleeve. So you knit the sleeves first, so instead of doing a gauge swatch, I thought I'm just going to start knitting the sleeves and use that as my gauge swatch. It's probably not the best thing to do, but I didn't get gauge. I could not get gauge. I need to rip this out. I even took the needle out. It's just been hanging out there, but it's called, this color, I have enough yarn to make the sweater, and this color is called Big Woods. It's so perfect. Look at that. I really, really want to make the Little Twig sweater to have for Christmas. I am way too ambitious with my knitting dreams and goals. It's not going to happen, is it, guys? But it's such a pretty color. There's more. It came in this little bag, and it came with some stitch markers and a little tin, and it, like I said, it was part of the kit, so it also came with the pattern. But I'd like to tackle that again, and I just need to make the gauge swatch, a regular gauge swatch, and not just start with the sleeves. This was the first time ever knitting the sleeves, the sleeve portion first, and I have to say I don't like that. I like having the body done and then doing the sleeve, but I'm gonna try it. Which, that will be something new to me, so that is like the perfect segue into this next little bit of information I want to give you, because I'm going to be hosting a make-along. I am a little bit nervous about this because I have never really been a huge participant in knit-alongs, make-alongs, any longs, because typically I do not like when a deadline is put on me like that by somebody else. I like to just do what I feel like doing when it comes to my knitting. Although I do like to test knit, so that's a little different. But Liz and Leanne from Arrowacres Farm and Cocktail Hour at the Coop podcast approached me a couple weeks ago and asked me if I would like to be a hostess to this make-along, new to you make-along. I'm pulling it up on my phone so I can get the details, because they just released the information for us hostesses. There's multiple people hosting, and I need to get the details so that I can not mislead you guys. Okay, so it's called the New to You 2020 Make-Along, and it's running from January 1st to February 14th. So this will be something, January and February are hard months because it's cold and like cold, and I'm stuck in the house and it's cold and not very sunny. So this will be something good, I think, a good distraction. But basically I need to get more details, but it's done through Ravelry, and so I guess I'm gonna have to like get on top of maintaining a Ravelry thread. I'm so bad with that, so I'm gonna have to do that, which I will. I'll do that for a month and a half for this. But then every host, every one of us sends a prize, and I think one person gets this humongous prize at the end of the make-along. But it's a new to you, so you're supposed to try something new, something you've never done before. It does not have to be knitting or crocheting or anything like that. It can be any kind of craft, any kind of, sewing, embroidery, cross-stitching. Here are my two ideas. I seriously want to learn how to rug hook. I have a kit on Etsy that I have had in my favorites for a while that is absolutely beautiful. wonder if I could put a picture of it in here. I don't know if I can take somebody's picture. Wait, I can pull it up on my phone. Let me see if I can find it real quick on my phone, because I really want to make this. The reason I have not bought it is because it's $70 some. Uh-oh. How come it's not on here anymore? I wonder if they're all sold out. Oh, it's so beautiful, and it's just simple. I like simple and beautiful. It's not showing up in my favorites anymore. So I'm wondering if maybe she's sold out. But I can show you another one that I like that's reasonable. It's $45, and it's a kit. Let me show you this. So I like that. Oh, but this other one I really, really loved. Oh, here it is. Here it is. This is called Punch Needle. It's not rug hooking. That's a different thing, huh? Is that a different thing? Can somebody explain that to me? I think it's different. Look at this. Oh my goodness, I love this. Isn't that pretty? That's what I want to do right there. Punch needle. That's what I want to do. But I don't think I'm going to be able to spend the money on that. So I think what I'm going to do instead, this is my plan A, but if this falls through, which it probably will, I think what I want to do is embroider something I knit. I've never done that before. I've done a little bit of embroidery, not much, but I've never embroidered anything I knit. So I think that's what I'm going to do if this falls through, which it probably will. So I will be giving the details for that probably through Instagram, and I'll make up a thread on Ravelry so that you guys can kind of check that out, and I'll get that information out to you. It starts January 1st though, so I will tell you that. So we have a little bit of time, but not much. So I'd love for you guys to be thinking of something that you've wanted to try that's crafty, and maybe you could join along, and you'll be getting whoever wins is going to be getting an awesome prize. So yeah, I don't know, maybe they don't send everything to one person. I need to message them and get the details on that, because this is the first time I've ever been included in this as a host, and they've done this before. They did this last year, so I think this is the second one. So I need to get some details on that. Okay, so I want to wrap this up, but before I do, I need to announce the giveaway winner. And I picked this winner using it's called commentpicker.com, and it picks random comments off of YouTube. So there were 262 unique commenters. You can filter out so there's no duplicates. And the winner is Carla Linzenich. So let me show you that. So Carla, if you could please, I'll respond to your comment on the last YouTube video, but if you see this before you see that, you need to message me your mailing address so I can get your yarn mailed out to you. And also, Wendy, I think, won the last giveaway for Carla, let me show you what you won, in case you forgot. So you won this beautiful sock set from A Knitter's Homestead. So I'll be mailing that out. And was it Wendy that won the last one? I have not mailed that out, the Autumn Acorns yarn, yet, but it's going to go out this week when I mail out this one too. So I apologize that there has been a delay in that, but I'm going to get that out to you. Yes. So also, I just wanted to say, have any of you been following along with any of the Vlogmas videos? There's a ton of them out there, my goodness. But I have 4 that I do watch pretty consistently. I haven't seen every day, just because I don't have the time to do that. But I just wanted to mention them. So Carmen from New Leaf podcast, I really like hers. Molly from A Homespun House, she's been doing her Vlogmases for a long time. She only does part of them on YouTube, and the rest are only available to her Patreon. subscribers, which I'm not a Patreon subscriber, so I'm only seeing what she posts on YouTube. But yes, and then there is the Woolen Forest, which I believe that's Maria. And then another one that is not knitting related, but I don't even know how I found this channel, but it's called Northern Heart. And it is a Swedish woman who does just these beautiful videos. She has an Advent series that she did last year, and she goes through a different Swedish Christmas tradition on each day of Advent. So I'm kind of working my way through those. I love it because it's not like overly commercial. It seems to me that they, at least from what she's portraying, that what she's trying to do is to focus on a more meaningful approach to Christmas and a less commercial one. I think that's really hard. I think it is. I think it's really hard. Because we feel like we should do certain things or have certain things, talk about certain things. I don't know. And that puts a lot of pressure on ourselves, but not just ourselves. It puts it on other people as well. Because then other people feel like, oh, well, maybe that's how I need to be celebrating then. If that's how they're celebrating, maybe that's the right way to do it. Maybe that's the fun way to do it. Maybe that's why I don't enjoy Christmas. Maybe I need to do more things, or I don't know, buy this or buy that. And so her videos are beautiful. They're very well made. And I've been watching some of her other videos from her channel too that aren't even related to Christmas. She's just got the coziest vibe, and I just really have been enjoying them. So I'll link all those podcasts down below. And so if you guys want to check them out, and if you're watching any that you really, really enjoy and would really recommend, let me know too. Because, I mean, I know a lot of the knitters that I subscribe to their YouTube channel. A lot of them are doing Vlogmas, but, we can't watch every single one. And maybe the ones I suggest you guys won't be interested in, because we all have different tastes. But I still like to hear recommendations from other people, even on podcasts too, So if you have any Vlogmas recommendations, let me know. I watch a little bit of Brooklyn Knit Folk. That's Jacqueline. She lives in Brooklyn. So hers are kind of interesting just to see, because that's such a different way of living than what I have, because I live in a rural area. And I do enjoy the city. This is, I don't know if I said this before, but like we usually go to Pittsburgh at least once during the Christmas season, just because I love to go down and see the lights, and it just looks really pretty down there. We were down there this past Thursday night for a brass band show, a Christmas show, and that was a good time. But so I enjoy watching some of hers just because it's interesting to see New York City at Christmas time. And there's been some other ones that I've watched as well, but you can't watch them all, can you? I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if I'll edit this today. I'm feeling tired, and editing is a lot of work. I would like to just film and let somebody else edit. I need to teach one of my kids how to edit so that they can edit my videos. I pay them to do it. It's just my least favorite part of filming. Yeah. Anyway. So we'll see. I'll either get this up today, or maybe it won't happen until Monday. I doubt it will happen tomorrow, which is Sunday. Today's Saturday. Honestly, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go outside because the sun's out and I need to get some fresh air. That is so important for me, and I have not really been outside today. And also, I mixed up gingerbread yesterday, so I want to get that cut out and baked today. That is an experiment. I have a tried and true gingerbread recipe that I've made every year for a long time, but I tried a new one this year, and the whole reason I did that is because I wanted to try a paleo recipe, just because sugar really does affect my health. And so I don't eat much anyway. Like, I don't eat a lot of baked goods because I have gluten. I have a lot of food allergies. Gluten and dairy happen to be two of them. And so I'm very limited to what I can eat anyway, all the time, but especially at this time of the year with all the sweets and cookies and baked goods around and stuff. But I will usually make gingerbread, gluten-free, dairy-free gingerbread at Christmas. But they still have sugar in them, and I always notice after that I just don't feel the best. So this recipe I made with, had almond flour, and it used maple syrup in it as the sweetener, and coconut flour and arrowroot, and some other things, and then your spices. But when I made the dough yesterday, I tasted the raw dough, and it was just pretty grainy, and I'm not really sure. It definitely didn't taste like my normal gingerbread. So we're going to try it. I'm going to roll it out today, cut it out, bake it, and see what it tastes like. And if worse comes to worse, I'll just turn it into ornaments. So it's really not that big of a deal. And then I'll make the regular recipe if this one's a complete flop. But I do want to go get that done today as well. So I'm going to end this video, and I hope you guys are all having a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful Advent season. I personally am doing my best just to like kind of focus on, for me as a Christ follower, what we use the Christmas season to remember the coming of our Savior Jesus Christ. So as much as I'm drawn and pulled by everything going on around me with, this is why we celebrate Christmas, or the gifts, or the lights, or blah, 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 all that stuff's fun, and I enjoy it. I really do. But I also want to make sure that I stay focused on, my faith as well as the people in my life. So that's what I'm really working on this Advent. And maybe if I have time, I'll throw together a quick Christmas edition of A Lovely Yarn after I cast on those Christmas stockings and those gnomes and whatever else I do. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this and wouldn't mind, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to do so. And I will talk to you next time.